The structure of GMAT, an acronym for Graduate Management Admission Test, is going to change during the later part of this 2023, that is this year, during the quarter 4, which will then be available for test takers, and will be called as GMAT Focus Edition. The present version of GMAT will be phased out during the early part of 2024. This will be one of the major changes to the test since 1997, when it moved to computer adaptive test from the paper and pencil based test. The official page describes these changes in the GMAT Focus Edition. The test will have 3 sections. One is the quantitative reasoning section, which will test your problem solving skills. It has a verbal section which will evaluate your reading comprehension and critical reasoning skills. There will not be sentence correction type of questions in the verbal section. And the third section is data insights section, which will test your ability to analyze data and interpret data. So questions here will combine data from the graph, from a numerical part, from the verbal part, for you to analyze and interpret. In effect, the total test taking time reduces by 1 hour from the previous version of GMAT. There are a few other changes in GMAT Focus Edition. There is nothing called analytical writing section here, so you don't have an essay to write. There is a feature called bookmark feature, so you can bookmark a question and you can go to other questions and come back to it later. There is a feature called question review and edit. You can come back to questions and review the answer choice and even change the answer choices. That is allowed. And there is a feature called select the section order. There are 3 sections. One is a quantitative reasoning, the second is verbal reasoning, and third is data insight section. You can take these sections in any order. Also, you'll be getting the test performance insights at no extra cost, so which will give a detailed reports about how you perform the test. You don't need to spend money for it. And with respect to score sending, in the present version of GMAT, you can send scores to the institutions before the test. That is, you're only allowed to send the scores before taking the test. Whereas in the GMAT Focus Edition, after you take the test, within 48 hours of taking the test, you're allowed to make the choice of where you'll be sending your GMAT scores. One other change is, let's assume that you're taking the GMAT Focus Edition 3 times during 3 different periods. So you'll be able to select the score of a particular date and send. So all the history of your GMAT test taking will not be present in the report. Few things are still the same. GMAT is valid for 5 years. It is still a computer adaptive test, which means the test adapts its difficulty based on your previous answer choices. The official information doesn't throw light on the total score, because in the present version the total score is 800, whereas for GMAT Focus Edition we do not know what the total score will be. In essence, the primary change is that the test taking time reduces by 1 hour from the previous GMAT version, and as well as from the GRE test. It has 3 sections. One is the quantitative reasoning, the verbal reasoning, and data insight section. You will be having the option to get your performance insights with no extra cost. And with respect to the sending of the scores, you will be able to make the choice of the schools where you wanted the GMAT test to be sent after the test, that is within the 48 hours of taking the test. You have the option of selecting the date of GMAT test and sending only that score. So the history of your GMAT test taking will not be in the report. These are some of the essential changes in the GMAT Focus Edition, which will be rolled out in this quarter 4 of 2023.